Everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to week 3 of Karate Combat Kumite. We got my man Chad Cannon here to give us a recap last week. Now, last week was the much anticipated fight number 2 for you in the division. I guess one question I have is, did you get a chance to watch your opponent's first fight before you guys fought?
Yeah, great question. No, I did not get a chance to watch. All I heard was we went back to the little dressing warm up room area, and Chance was like, he's like, bro, that guy just knocked that other dude out first round.
So,
And
so as we saw, he completely decimated his opponent, and you hear that, like, what were your thoughts when you heard that?
yeah, of course, I was like, okay, dang, he knocked him out. And I was trying to break it down to see, Chance was telling me he came out and it's a lot of punches, kind of
Hmm.
flurried him in a sense. So that's what I had in my mind, in the picture of the type of fighter that he was going to be, and I felt like he'd come out super aggressive too. So yeah, my strategy in that was I was going to kind of start off, switch up with more of like a point fighter bounce and movement, because
Hmm.
I knew that, he wouldn't be able to hit me if I was moving and I was more agile. So like if you noticed during the fight, I came out more of a point fighter bounce, more of a sideways. I was even doing like sliding side kicks. But after I caught my range, just from that, I kind of felt like he didn't really want to just come off at me with punches because he knew that I had movement. Um, you know, then after watching the fight, that the guy that he did fight, I don't really think he had much of a game plan. You know, so that was my initial thoughts and game plan going to the fight.
Now, you did, like you mentioned, you didn't see his fight, his knockout. Would you have preferred to have it that way, where you just heard this is what happened, or would you, if you actually had, your plan, would you have preferred to actually watch your fight and watch your competition, kind of like what we do in a tournament, as you sit there and watching how things are going to play out for the next fight?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, and initially I'd want to say no, because I think ultimately when it comes down to fighting, it's a sport that it's so unpredictable,
Hmm.
right? And I think that um, what makes great champions are, how they can mentally prepare their mind for battle and be able to adapt, to any circumstance. So I feel like even if I would have watched the fight, that it wouldn't have really changed my mindset on how I was going to approach it.
Well, one thing that I definitely noticed during this fight is that, man, you dropped some bombs. I mean, you're one of those shots you hit him with. It was actually shown in a clip, and I think you actually posted to your Instagram. Man,
Yeah.
you just laid it out there, and the gloves are small. They're thin gloves. Probably something that you might, depending on the judge, who the head judge is, in a sport karate type of setting, you might have gotten a warning for your contact. But I mean, how did it feel to kind of not have that, have to worry about that, to
Oh
kind of
man,
let the punches fly?
it it felt great, honestly. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of started taking a little step back from point fighting, because that's what I've done my whole life. But I'd always been trained in Muay Thai too, and just like I get into a point fighting tournament, and I didn't want to stop, and that was just eating at me. That's when I really knew it was time to start pursuing like the more of the full contact. So um, it felt good, man. That was the first time when I truly felt like I could go out there and release my technique in full power and speed. Because even in point fighting, it's still, I mean, we're still executing a hard technique, but a full contact fight's just a little bit different, on how you can execute power. Because like you said, a lot of it would be maybe a considered excessive contact or hitting after the break. So yeah, man, felt good.
And with that being said, you had some. Well, the judges were marveling over the axe kick, how beautiful it was set up and everything, but it kind of led to a takedown. Do you think? What are some of the tools, again, because it's a different sport, and again, mixing the styles together, mixing point karate, sport karate, Muay Thai? How would you have changed that technique so that it would have been more effective and maybe not led to him able to grab and take you down, which he did no damage. I love the way you protected yourself. You did no damage with those takedowns.
Yeah. So the axe kick, I love that technique, and I feel like it's a very useful technique. But I think in a full contact application, I feel like it needs to be thrown differently than in a point fight. And that even comes down to the position and the part of the head that you hit your opponent at, what part of the foot that you hit your opponent with. Um, because not having as much protection and no headgear kind of changes how contact feels as
Right,
well.
right.
Um, so with that, just after reviewing, I definitely felt like I was already close enough distance where I didn't really have to slide too much on it. So I think it was just a little bit misjudgment of distance on how I set up that kick. Um, and I had a lot of confidence against him. So I felt like even I probably could have managed my emotions a little bit better as well.
Hmm.
Because I felt like I could go out there and hit him with everything.
Mm.
You So I think maybe if I would have checked myself just a little bit before I thrown it, I may have been able to have done it. You know with a little bit more better execution toward the leg than wrap around the neck.
Well, as we all know, that
Yeah.
was the semifinal round, and we're headed into the finals. Of course, Karate Combat Kumite Week 4 is out Thursday at 7 p.m. on their YouTube channel. Does Chad go all the way? Does he get the only this man knows? You guys got to watch this week and see. We'll be back with the recap. Chad, I thank you so much. I can't wait to see what happens next.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate it. I can't wait for you guys to see Thursday. Thank you again for having me on.